In this WrestleTalk news, CM Punk receives multiple offers for wrestling, Jeff Jarrett to All Elite, Vince McMahon investigation is now closed, and Ollie's going to be here reviewing AEW Dynamite, so subscribe and enable notifications to Always On for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, CM Punk has rarely been away from the news over the past 2 months, despite us hearing ne'er a peep from the man himself this entire time. While there's been no official declaration of how the whole brawl-out thing actually played out, given the vignette for the Elite last week and Colt Cabana's AEW return this week, it doesn't take a genius to figure that things didn't end favourably for Punker. Now, according to Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Inc.'s Nick Hausman, AEW are unlikely to bring Punk back to AEW, but given his stature and price tag, what options will he realistically have elsewhere? Well, according to Fightful Select, Punk has received multiple offers. Now, it was previously reported that Punk had acting opportunities on the table, more specifically for a follow-up to his appearance on Stephen Amell's Heel show on the Stars Network. However, while it has seemed unlikely, it has also been reported that WWE and Triple H would be open to a Punk return. Adding to this, Fightful also stated that another source close to Punk believes that Punk himself may have caught the wrestling bug again. Drop me on my head, I love it. Now, given Punk's current injury status, we are unlikely to get a clearer picture anytime soon, given how Punk's AEW run ended, though it's possible he may feel that he has unfinished business. Last night on Dynamite, an ex-WWE talent made their shock AEW debut. Now, stop me if you've heard this one before. Bit interesting though, because this one was Jeff Jarrett who showed up on Dynamite in a surprise invasion angle, attacking Darby Allin after his match with Jay Lethal. Now, given Jarrett's very recent employment with WWE, leaving in August, initially as a producer but later as a senior vice president of live events, this appearance would have been noteworthy enough. But the real juiciness came after Dynamite came off the air, because speaking on Twitter, Tony Khan announced that Double J was not only All Elite, but he was also now officially the director of business development for the company. Now, as Khan mentioned in his post, it looks like Jarrett will be in charge of expanding AEW's live event schedule in the next calendar year, picking up from that role that he briefly had for WWE in the summer. That's a bold move from TK, having been a long while since Jarrett carried such an important position in the wrestling company. TNA and Impact, and I guess Global Force Wrestling were the last examples of such. But we all know how that played out. AEW certainly needed a shot in the arm, but few expected the answer to spell J-E-F-F. While AEW backstage stories continue to unfold, it seems like we can now wrap a little bow around the other biggest wrestling news story of the year, because according to WWE's official Q3 financial report, the Vince McMahon misconduct investigation has officially closed, with the overall cost approximately totaling to a staggering $19.7 million. Now, before you start to panic, Fightful Select has broken in to clarify that while the investigation is over, it does not spell out a return to the company for Vince. I would pay $19.7 million for that not to happen. I would like $19.7 million first, and then a long time to think about it. Maybe the rest of my life. A spokesperson from WWE told Fightful that Vince was officially done and would not be returning to the roles that were taken over by Triple H and several others. A separate source also told Fightful that while they initially had reservations, hesitations, and fears regarding McMahon's departure and him possibly quickly coming back, that is no longer the case. Because according to an unnamed WWE higher-up, morale has over the last few months been the highest they have seen in over a decade. So yeah, while Vince still holds controlling stock in WWE, we can all breathe easy, as can Karrion Kross and Hit Row and pretty much everyone else that Triple H has brought back.
Before we get on with the rest of the video, I'd just like to say a big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, which you can get 83% off and 3 months free if you go to surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk and use the code WrestleTalk. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole new world of content libraries. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. If you're outside the UK, you can watch the BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE network with its far superior functionality. I hate change. We've all been using Surfshark here at WrestleTalk for years now. It's our official VPN. And it doesn't just let us gain access to all the wrestling, it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private. My collection of ultra swole Pokemon must be protected at all costs. And my favorite feature for this is that Surfshark knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having a babyface wrestling faction for your phone. So sign up to Surfshark today by clicking our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk, where you'll get 83% off and 3 months free if you use the code WrestleTalk. We'd really appreciate if you at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support WrestleTalk and support your internet privacy with Surfshark.
I love you, Surfshark! And now it's Thursday, you know what that means. My review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. And you know what? I'm gonna be a more positive Ollie today. I'm gonna look past the fact the promotion has too many belts, a lack of focus, a weird CM Punk-sized hole. I'm happy Ollie now! What the f***? Jeff Jarrett's back! I've got mixed feelings about the Double J. He is an incredibly charming man. The one time I met him, he has a way of talking to you like he's suddenly your best friend. I was obsessed with him during his babyface TNA run in the late noughties. I do think he's a great promo. Nobody does Jeff Jarrett better than Jeff Jarrett. Unfortunately, part of being Jeff Jarrett involves leaving a trail of business destruction in your wake. The booking of TNA, GFW, the whole I like gold sales scheme. He's got a wealth of experience, yes, but he also doesn't seem to learn from failure. That his on-screen debut is coupled with a prominent backstage role for AEW could backfire down the line, which are all concerns I will immediately forget about when Jarrett eventually faces off with Sting. But how did we get here? In fittingly TNA fashion, via very convoluted routes. Jay Lethal beat Darby Allin thanks to both Satnam Singh's impenetrable chest off Darby Allin's bullet dive, which is the best thing that man has ever done in wrestling, and a mystery man dressed as Sting taking Darby out behind the referee's back. A mystery man dressed as Sting revealed to be Cole Carter, which, funnily enough, got the exact same confused anti-pop as Singh's debut earlier this year. It also didn't make any sense, with Jay teasing the previous week a figure from Darby's past, and appears to drop Lethal's tension with his own faction. Thankfully, the Jarrett surprise made us all forget the weird reveals and inconsistencies, because this was a frickin' weird episode of Dynamite. Kinda loved it. Next up, we got the second Elite comeback tease, this time playing a clip of them winning the Trios titles, which was then removed from an edit timeline and replaced with Death Triangle winning the belts, obviously setting up the Elite versus Death Triangle for the Trios Championship soon. There was also a file on the edit timeline though, titled ES_0051_05401_Impact-hard-solid_force_APM.wav. Oh, this isn't my first rabbit hole, Elite. I'm fresh off a month of Bray Wyatt QR codes. This is obviously a clue, so if I type that long convoluted file name into Google, I get a full sport exhaust system for a Fantic Caballero 125-40 Scrambler motorbike. What does it mean? Jon Moxley then took on the Firm's Lee Moriarty in a championship contenders match.
Stop trying to make
The Firm
happen.
Unfortunately, the crowd got distracted near the climax of the match by sportsman Lamar Jackson taking a seat in the front row, where a chant of MVP broke out. Until this was cleared up on commentary, I was very confused and thought MVP was somehow in the audience. Moxley won, Ethan Page beat him up afterwards, presumably setting up a match for them. There was no MJF on this show, which feels like a missed opportunity given the cliffhanger last week. Renee Paquette interviewed Saraya, where she didn't reveal if she's medically cleared yet, because there's one last doctor she wants to consult next week. I imagine that's some cute foreshadowing for her beating up the Doctor, Britt Baker, to reveal she can actually wrestle a match. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the $100 Man CD Horver and the Kessel Run DX Solo. You can get your own shoutouts by going to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. In a time of great in-ring wrestling, you have to do sports entertainment to really stand out. Like the Bloodline segments on SmackDown, the Acclaim's family drama is some of the most enjoyable stuff on TV right now. The latest in-ring promo skit was to celebrate Daddy Ass's birthday, which was more of a fun way to say, "Look at all our new scissoring merch for you to buy!" See, AEW aren't just a t-shirt company, they do foam fingers too. Anthony Bowens continues to shine, delivering the excellent line that his planned surprise guests cancelled because they were upset upset Billy didn't go to their reunion, a brilliant reference to the DX celebration on Raw last month. The Acclaimed were about to be officially adopted by Billy Gunn, I Love You Pro Wrestling, when his birth sons, the Ass Boys, interrupted and W. Morrissey took out everyone in the ring.
Stop trying to make
The firm
happen.
FTR made the save, but still got over how they're coming for the Acclaim's tag titles. Eventually. Sometime in the fall next year. Chris Jericho's surprise former ROH Championship contender this week was Colt Cabana. Hey guys, I'm starting to think AEW might have sided with the Elite here. Colt wrestled with serious intensity, but ultimately lost thanks to Jake Hager interference. The JAS went to beat up ROH announcer Ian Riccaboni afterwards, but the Blackpool Combat Club made the save. Orange Cassidy beat Luchasaurus and Rey Fenix next in what felt like a match 11-year-old me had booked with all my favorite toys. The in-ring dynamic worked great. Phoenix and Cassidy did high spots to be cut off by the evil, unstoppable monster Luchasaurus. And in a great weaving of multiple storylines, Jungle Boy took out Luchasaurus with an amazing running crossbody through a table off the stage. And Pac tried to get Phoenix to cheat with the hammer, because he just hates Orange Cassidy so much, which led to Cassidy retaining. And then Shibata showed up because he's going to have an actual match with Cassidy this Friday on Rampage. What is happening? Continuing the crazy surprises, accusations. Rick Ross is a fantastic promo. He was there to talk up Swerve Strickland, but Keith Lee wanted to talk about all Swerve's heel shenanigans, like maiming a dude's hand. Lee toasted them in the end though. I think he's turning heel, after weirdly passing 40 consecutive wins on Dark. Jade Cargill got the big 41st victory here, effectively squashing Marina Shafir. Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero did commentary from the top of the ramp, which didn't work quite as well as I think they thought it would. More surprises! The House of Black haven't somehow gotten out of their AEW contracts. A very cool vignette played of Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews and Brody King being drowned and then burned by Julia Hart, to then seemingly rise from the dead. But what could Malachi speaking to the father of the Black Light possibly mean? Rabbit hole! A link to the same full sport exhaust system for a Fantic Caballero 125-4T Scrambler motorbike. What does it mean? And in our fourth championship match of the night, Samoa Joe tacked out Brian Cage in the Coquina Clutch after a fun hoss fight of a main event. The Gates of Agony jumped Joe afterwards.
Stop trying to make
Oh no, sorry, it's the Embassy. My mistake there. Wardlow made the save, but Powerhouse Hobbs took him out and posed with the TNT Championship. What did you think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. That was a crazy episode. Jeff Jarrett, Shibata, Cole Carter, Rick Ross, accusations, the House of Black returning. This was the right kind of chaotic weird. It's a shame MJF didn't get to follow up from last week, but overall, this was a wild ride. This week's Dynamite is 84%. But who will win at Crown Jewel this Saturday? Watch mine and Tempest predictions now. It's Crown Jewel 2022 predictions time here on the WrestleTalk podcast. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Tempest with all the gold.
Jam that champion. Quizzlemania champion. That bitch champion. Sorry, Jade.
But that's not canon, right? That's just your own thing.
Yeah, I wear this when I have all the gold.